Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I am really excited about today's video. It's kind of a spontaneous one because I realized I didn't put out a video last week, so I decided to do just a tutorial slash color and chat. If there is any video shaking, I apologize. I have a different filming stand on the way, so hopefully that gets here soon so that I can see if it will do the job. So I'm going to be doing her skin with FaberCastell Polychromos. I did her hair with the Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils, so I kind of want to keep the skin in the same family as the FaberCastells. So the colors I'll be using are CAPUT MORTUUM, which is 169, and then POMPEIAN Red, which is 191, Cinnamon 189, and Light Flesh, which is 132. Okay, so hopefully can get through this. And I always start with the dark first, which is 169, and I just do the edges of where I want my shadows and my core shadows to be. And I don't add too much pressure, only where I want it like really dark. And I like to use, I'm pretty sure this is the one I normally use, I like to use a purpley brown for that first level of the first layer of the skin tone. I've tried blue, and the person that I did looked sick. I've tried purple, which has worked really well, different deep purples, and I've tried brown for a couple, but if you do straight brown, like if you do umber for a fair skin tone, it won't work very well. So I just go where the shadow is and kind of build it up. I don't want to add too much pressure because I'm going to be adding blending other colors into this one. So excuse me, I just like to color in little circles in the same spot and just layer it that way. Okay, and I'm gonna taper this. I'm not looking at any particular light source for her skin, or sorry, not light source, any particular photo reference, and I don't have a particular light source, so I'll probably have the light shining like on the front of her face, creating kind of shadows with the hair, and then a shadow on the nose and in the chin area. And yeah, so while I finish filling this in, let's catch up, because it's also been a while since I've just sat down and colored. Yeah, it's just been a fun, busy summer. I'm trying to think. My son has so much energy, so we've just been going on walks, going to the library, cleaning up after it. I'm just kidding. But yeah, the other day during his nap, when he was supposed to be sleeping, he took apart, well, he figured out how to open the drawers in his dresser and pulled out all of his clothes. So we're at that fun stage of his learning and exploration is making a big mess. So we're trying to teach him how to clean that mess up when he's finished. Okay, so right now it's not looking like, it just looks patchy, you know, but that's okay because it's just the first layer. Excuse me. Oh yeah, I just keep getting colds too, so that's been something that happens. Let's see. So one tip, oh man, kind of looks like she has a mustache. I gotta be careful. One tip when you're wanting to do color really lightly is hold further away from the tip of the pencil, because you'll still have pretty good control of the pencil, but you're just naturally not putting down as much pressure. Okay, so I'm gonna put a shadow on her eyelid, next to her eye, and then where her cheek is, I like to do the whole thing right there. So I really normally don't wear makeup, so I just kind of have to guess at where cheekbones and stuff, like just from that. So a lot of times the faces that I do are also very just natural looking, because I'm afraid of, you know, adding a more done up face and it looking like a clown or something. Okay, so with the neck, I'm pretty generous with the shadow right there. Alright. And then here we'll have just an extra darker shadow. Okay, now I'm gonna see, so her collarbone is here. Oops, I pushed a little bit too hard. It's okay. Just make that a shadow. Okay. Because I'm not quite sure if I want to like make her I don't know. I lost my train of thought, but yeah, we'll turn this into a shadow so it doesn't look so bad. Okay, and then this right there. So this first layer is kind of just a preliminary way of what's the word? Setting up where you want your shadows to be. So I would recommend doing it really lightly, and then as you kind of finalize, you can make it a little bit darker, but not too crazy. I also use the side of my pencil a lot because it creates a smoother surface, smoother effect. Go back in here. Okay. Thinking that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to go in with Pompeian red, and this is a very bright red, so you also have to be a little bit more careful with it too, but I like to use it because it adds a pinkness to the skin so that it doesn't look as washed out. Sorry about the shaking. Yes, okay. So with most things that I color, I'll usually use two colors, the darkest that I want to go and then the lightest that I want to go, and they kind of blend in the middle. And if I really want something to look, what's the word I'm looking for? If I really want something to have more depth and layers, I'll do 3 layers. I think skin is one of the few things that I actually do 4 or more different colors with. So I'm just going back over where I put all of my shadows and deepening that. I don't want to go too red or else she's gonna look sunburned. You still want to keep your pressure really light because you're gonna go over this too with the cinnamon. And I also blend it out and up a little bit. I think that's one reason skin, sometimes it intimidates me, especially if I'm doing a skin tone that I haven't tried attempting before, like more exotic skin tones. But sometimes I just don't want to take as much time as it does to make a face look nice, because I do like them to look nice. Yeah, I think I was a little too generous with the red over there, but that's okay. Once I get the other parts filled in, it should balance out again. And it probably would help if I looked at a photo reference, and I would recommend that for if you're just starting to do skin, but I think I would also just be too OCD about all the different shadows that I needed to follow. Okay, so on her forehead, I'm going to blend it down. While keeping some highlight, because your forehead does catch a lot of light because it's one of the largest unobstructed parts of your face besides your cheek, which is usually got a shadow from the cheekbone and shadows from the nose and the eyes. Okay, I'm gonna gradient that down a little bit. So, my son has been saying a lot more words lately because he's, in that age where every day he's learning more and more words. Well, a couple days ago, he learned how to say my name, and it's so cute. He'll like shout, "Camille, Camille, Camille," and until I say, "What?" And then he just gets this big old grin on his face. Because sometimes he just wants to get that response, and other times it's because he wanted to tell me something. So that's been just really cute. Yeah. Okay. Sometimes I've got to remember to take as much time on the neck as I've taken on the face, because I tend to because it is just a bunch of skin, it's really tempting to go really fast and not really pay attention. So I have to remind myself to slow down a little bit so that it looks the same level as the rest. So yeah, I'm really, really hoping that this new stand that I get does the job, because if not, then I don't know what to do. Because I don't want my videos to be shaky. But the stands that I have right now are those bendable ones, and they're just kind of taped together right now. Because yeah, so I'm gonna go move on to cinnamon, and this time I'm gonna use a little bit more pressure because I'll be blending that down. But as I get out to where it's supposed to be lighter, then I'll lighten it up, lighten up the pressure. Yeah, I think I was a little too generous with the red. Sorry about the jiggle. I really, really like using cinnamon for skin tones. It just has that nice amount of like pink with peachiness, with just a touch of brown. Oh, also, I wanted to mention this too. So the 169 and 191, the two darker ones, I like to keep sharper because it's easier to control where the color is going, and it's easier to keep it darker, or not darker, light enough and smooth enough. And then once I get to the more lighter tones, I don't like it to be pointy. I like it to have a little bit of a snub, I guess, or a stump, but still long enough or sharp enough that I'm not scratching into anything. I just find that it blends better that way and burnishes it while you're coloring, rather than having to go back in and burnish it with something else. Okay, let's get back to this shadow. I'm still trying to decide what I want to do with the lips, if I want to make them a natural color or if I want to do something fun with them. So yeah, oh, and I'm using more of a medium pressure. I don't want to push down super hard until I get to the last color, which is when it'll burnish it. And this paper, I have not done skin on this paper before, so it is interacting a little bit differently than anticipated, but it's still working pretty well. Okay, now I'm going back to light pressure because I'm working in this highlight area. And I'm using strokes that follow the contours of the face. And also small circles. Gotta fade that out a little bit. Okay, go in this area, blend down. Yeah, so let's see. My mind had all this stuff to say, and then I pushed play and it went blank. And I just realized I've been talking really softly, so I apologize if there were bits and pieces that were hard to hear. I'm trying to work on that, work on talking out more, speaking more loudly. I'm just more, my voice is a lot softer. And unless, well, if I'm like super excited or energized, I can be really loud, but usually it's quieter. When I worked fast food, all the time my manager would say, "You need to talk louder, you need to talk louder." I know, I'm trying. My yelling is other people's, like my shouting is other people's normal talking sometimes. I don't know why, it just takes more effort for me to talk loudly and speak out. I also, I don't know why, but for some reason, if I spend too long on a certain component and on a coloring page, it takes me a long time to move on to the next part. So I'm pretty surprised that I didn't just put this aside, because this hair took a really long time to do. It took a few days to do the hair. But I think I was just so excited to see what she looked like with skin, because it just felt so incomplete without her skin done. Oh, so I also yesterday got in the mail the next Coloring Heaven, and it's the Sorcery Special or something like that. The artist is really talented, but I don't know if it's my style of book, so I'm trying to decide if what I want to do with the book, because some of the pictures are really nice and I would color, but some of the other ones are just not particularly something that I would pick for myself. Okay, mostly finished. Now I'm going to use Light Flesh, and I'm gonna go over everything, buffer it down. I'm still gonna leave some highlights in this area and the highlighted areas, but everything else I'll kind of burnish with this, and this just helps, you know, burnish everything together and also lightens these other colors a little bit. I'm trying, so this is not super hard pressure, it's medium to hard pressure, because I don't want streaking to happen. And I also do this in circles, because sometimes with skin, if you push too hard when you are burnishing, you can get weird lines, like down here. I kind of forgot that, and you have like this weird line right there. It's probably hard to see on camera, but it's there. And then when I get to the highlight, I just kind of do the same thing I've been doing and fade out a little bit. Come back over here and blend that into there. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of pigment under this eye right there, so it doesn't look like her eyes are like, you know, if there's a word for that. Okay. Yes. Yeah, that looks, it's amazing just how adding one extra color can make a difference. Or one extra layer, I mean. One extra layer. And sometimes that's all you need is, because I see a lot of times people say, oh, this looks terrible, I don't know what to do, when really it looks great, and all that they need to do is add one more layer of something. Because if it's unfinished, our brain sometimes can't understand why it doesn't look like we wanted it to. Okay, so she's a lot tanner than I anticipated or planned. There's, I think, if you want to make your skin tone pinker with Polychromos, instead of using the Pompeian red, 191, use 131, which is medium flesh, and that will give you a pinker skin tone. Yeah. So if you want it to be more of a fair skin tone, because I did one of Hannah Carlson's ladies with my Polychromos, and it turned out so awesome. and I made the mistake of not writing down the colors, but I'm pretty sure that it was Burnt Carmine, which is 193, and then 131, and really light 130, and the super light, this one. Sorry about the jiggle. I think also part of it is my desk wiggles a little bit when I color, and so that makes the camera stand wiggle, which makes the camera wiggle. Okay, so finish that down. You could also go in with a Derwent burnishing pencil and burnish it some more if you would like. But I would say if you do, put a paper behind before you burnish so you're not scratching into the other layers underneath. And oh, I've got to do the neck. I gave all this spiel about paying attention and not forgetting things, and I forgot the neck for a second. Okay. And then there's that highlight, like right on the Adam's apple. Like so. I'm really not taking as much time on this as I should be. Okay. Yeah. So that is how I usually do skin tones. Start with the darkest, work my way up to where it's light. Because that's how you do it with oils. Not with watercolors. With watercolors, you would start with the lightest layer and then go darker. And I have tried doing skin with the watercolor pencils by FaberCastell, but I run into like them just being washed out a little bit. I'm not able to get as much depth because coloring book paper, even though it does take watercolor pencils very well, it doesn't take as many layers as watercolor paper would. And so in one of my books I just had a problem of it started pilling, even though I wasn't using a lot of water. I was just using this handy little guy. And so I would recommend for coloring books using pencils, or a lot of people use pen pastels. I don't have those, never worked with those, but they are really popular for skin tones now. So yeah, that was just a quickie on how I do my skin tones with FaberCastells, because normally you use Prismacolors because they have a very nice selection and they go on very smoothly. So let me show a little close up what it looks like so you can see the highlights and all that. yeah, so that was just super quick, simple tutorial for someone maybe beginning, but it's definitely not the most professional looking skin, but it is good practice. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful or entertaining, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Happy coloring!